Good morning, friends. Hello, hello. Good morning to you. I pray you're having a great day. Good morning, good morning. How are you on this steamy day? It is already in the mid 80s and it is climbing for more. Although there's going to be a breeze today, so it's going to be one of those sunny, summery days. I hope you're able to get out and enjoy some of it. Hey, Vicky, good morning to you. I hope you're having a great trip. Karen, good morning. Hello. Hey, John. Jamie, hello, hello. I hope you're healing well, honey. Good morning, Yvette. Hope you're grand. Good morning, everyone. It's a beautiful day. Just a reminder tonight that if you're in the area and you want to come to the movies with us, we are going to. We have tickets for the Sound of Freedom, the film that's getting a lot of attention, and I talked about it on Sunday. I won't talk about it much today, but I just wanted to remind you that if you want to come out, there'll be a ticket waiting for you with my shining face at 6 o'clock at AMC Dartmouth. If you'd like to come out and see it, so 6 o'clock tonight, AMC Dartmouth. Would love to see you if you want to come see that film, the Sound of Freedom. So we'll be having a little church movie night. So hope you can be there with us. Good morning, everyone. Oh, cup of Joe, little mug up. It is a scorcher out there today, so I hope you're keeping cool. All right, let's get going this morning. It is the 12th day of July on this Wednesday at 11:11, and I'm glad you're here and I'm glad you're a part of this journey. It does my heart good, and I hope it does yours good, that you take a moment, you take a knee, take a breath, take a chance to simply orient yourselves towards higher things for a moment. That's our great goal here, is to punctuate your day and to bring you something a little bit more beautiful in it. That when we open ourselves up to the reading and hearing scripture, we open ourselves up to these moments of reflection. We open ourselves up to all manner of goodness, all manner of beauty, and things that can happen in our lives. So I want to start with the 37th Psalm of David. And it is this. So the Psalms of David are some of its laments, some of its instructions, some of it is kind of invitations by God, but they are the grand songbook of the Hebrew people. And so it is the first four verses. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass, they will soon wither, like green plants, they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Take delight in the Lord. Now, we're in this world these days where there are messages anywhere and everywhere telling you to perhaps first kind of what to delight in. That there's all sorts of things you can delight in. A new a new whiskey, a fast car, an internet chat site, a social media profile, likes on your Facebook. I mean, there's all manner of things that the world is kind of enticing us to delight in, and this notion of what the psalmist is inviting us to is to delight in the Lord. And I came across this guy by the name of Eddie Jaku. I'll post his his TED Talk here on in the chat because I and that so he was incarcerated in 1938 in as a Jewish person arrested in the midst of the pogroms of Germany, of Nazi Germany. He would be arrested on the 10th of November, 1938, and he would have this incredible story of escaping from the camps. His father sending him to Belgium to try to escape the war in 1940. He would have this cat and mouse game with the German authorities for a few years, and finally his luck would run out, and he would end up in Auschwitz until the end of the war, and until the great death march of Auschwitz. And he would come out of this a bitter and angry and a pained man. But he would go on to fall in love with his wife, and whom he would be married for over 70 years. And at the birth of his first child, he began to he encountered, I think, himself in a way in the story that he tells. And that in that encounter, as all the great movements of our life will do, that they'll cause us to not only to encounter ourselves and how we are in the world, that his anger and his unhappiness is that he would begin to make a conscious and fervent commitment to being happy. That he would rejoice that this little phrase from the 37th Psalm, that take delight in the Lord, that Eddie Jaku would spend the rest of his life and in the business of delighting in the Lord. Now, what does it mean to delight in the Lord? We good Protestantism, or in the Western world, we've been kind of thought that we just need to read our Bible a lot or pray a lot, but that's not it. The delight in the Lord is the delight of the logos, right? Of the really real, of the things that really matter in the world. That if you take away time and space, you take away and you look at any, and a good way to look at this is to look at any particular time in history. Go back 2,000 years and look at what mattered to the people that lived 2,000 years ago. Now, they were living those things out differently, or go 1,000 years ago. Look at the things that mattered in the course of people's lives, their families, their friendships, the people that they would bind their lives to, the ability to love other people, the ability to be kind, the ability to be just and right and stand for that which is right. When we look back, those are the people that we laud and we remember, and the people that aren't that are often the people that we call great, like Alexander the Great or Philip the Great. Yeah, in order to be great, you actually have to be a pretty miserable human being. But the greatness is not what we're talking about. We're talking about delight. To delight in, take delight in the pattern of things. And this is what Eddie Jaku would go on to spend the rest of his life attempting to do. He would go on to spend the rest of his life in this journey and in this search. And it would be, I want to lift him up, and I hope you'll watch his video, only because it's I think in some ways some of the most just basic ideas of what it is. We have all of this technology. We have all of this interconnectedness. We have all of this that binds us together, and yet we are more isolated, and we are more alone, and we are largely more unhappy. That Americans take more antidepressants. We take more drugs to feel better. We take more drugs to be less anxious than any other people on the planet. There's something about the way that we're moving through the world that we are failing to delight in the Lord. And when I say Lord, I'm just talking about banging your tambourine for Jesus. That's great if you want to do that, and it's wonderful. I love a good tambourine banging anytime. But the question is not to just kind of give ourselves over to this praise sense, but it is to take that which is really real, that which is truly true, and to live that out in the moments of our days. We all know, even though we encounter it again and again, that all of human misery is really a result of our beliefs about the past. I've done these things, or I'm a guilty person, so I could never be okay today or tomorrow, or anxieties about the future, our thoughts about the future. Oh, this is going to happen, so I could never be happy, or that's going to happen, so I could never be happy. That those are the two movements that are constant. And what are they doing? They're constantly moving us away from the moment in which we inhabit. And this isn't. And I hope you don't hear this simply as a "be here now" talk, which always good advice, but it is. But just being here now isn't enough. That's kind of that it is. It is truly, I think, a willful desire to step into, to delight, to take delight in what God has in store in the midst of our days. I'll read to you some of his little pithy phrases that he has through the course of his talk, and again, I actually pick him out, and he really touched me because of how unremarkable it is, not because, although and at the same time how absolutely remarkable it is. He lost a number of his parents. He lost his parents in the death camps. He lost people that he loved. His entire world was torn apart and torn up. That he had real scars and real pain and real hate as a result of all that. He had, but this notion that as his son is born, and as he describes what he is encountering in the birth of his first son, he encounters this moment that the psalmist encounters. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong, for like the grass, they will soon wither. That, I have no doubt, there have been pain and woundedness and hurt and injustice that has come into your life. There is no doubt that you have endured evil, my friends. If you've been on this planet for any amount of time, it's happened. But the thing is it really is like this living thing that will in fact fade into the mists. That will in fact, as the Stoics will say, that eventually every grave will go untended. And that also means all the things. That's not just our grave, that one day we will all be forgotten, that all graves will go untended. And now that's not meant to depress you. It's actually meant to encourage you to remember that's also true of all the hard things that happened to you, all the difficult things that you've endured, all of those things, that one day those graves will be untended, that you won't grieve over those things of your past any longer either. And that's the promise of God's love for us, that he saves us not just now, but in the future. He's conspiring for us, and in the past, that these things will in fact melt away and become a part of the ages. And so that all of those things, we'll take that, and that our task, our invitation, is to delight in the really real, delight in the things that matter. And, maybe sometimes it's just about getting through today, or maybe sometimes it's truly about finding that the joy of the day. One of the things he talks about is about friendship, which again, comes back again and again and again, whether it's C.S. Lewis or Tolkien or, so many of the great saints. They talk about friendship as being perhaps one of the greatest and single of loves. It's certainly what he would suggest is the most subversive of loves. That friendship will take you away from allegiance to nation. It will take you away from allegiance to bad systems. It will take you away, but that true friendship will actually be the absolute subversive for the kingdom of heaven. It will make you a subversive for the kingdom of heaven. And it's one of the things that Ijeku likes to say is that a good friend is the whole world. That and again, he'll go on to say more. I'll just kind of list some of them. You know, that where there is life, there is hope. That there's always miracles in the world, even when it seems dark. Love is the best medicine. Share your hope, not your pain. These, and I wanted to read this to you because they sound like such absolute treacle, such absolute pablum, that they're like the back of the old Reader's Digest quote book, and they're almost, well, not even almost, that there's a part of ourselves that would even feel that they are insulting to us. And yet, here is a man who endured the greatest horrors of the world and describes himself, and this is why I wanted to talk about Eddie Jeku, because he has a moniker by which he goes by. What he has a belief in that he declares about himself in the world, which is he is the self-proclaimed happiest man in the world. All of these platitudes, all of these throwaway truths, all of this kind of Pollyannish pablum that the cynicism of the world would have us throw on the trash heap of our reality is actually the very fabric of how the world is brought together. And it's actually the very hope of God for you. That actually, when these things are encountered, when they are lived out, when we take delight in the Lord, they actually go from being like little clowny, kind of simplistic, stupid things to actually some of the most beautiful and most incarnate and life-filled flowers of beauty for us to live out and admire and to smell with a fragrance that will fill any room. I was struck by Eddie Jeku that in his talk he quotes Albert Camus. He ends his talk actually with the Albert Camus. And Camus is an interesting figure. So if you don't know him, he's a philosopher from the mid 20th century. Much of his philosophy comes from post World War II, post Holocaust, where he's really reacting to the fact that this most horrible thing has happened in the world. And he writes this big long book on should you kill yourself? That, and it's an unblinking look at why really there's no point in going on. And and Camus' kind of basic premise after when it's all done is, it's all pretty dumb and it's all pretty silly and it's all pretty awful most of the time. But at the very end of it, he basically says, but it's worth it. He says, but it's all worth it. As stupid as it is, as painful as it is, as much suffering as we'll endure, as imperfect as it is, as capricious as it all kinds of seems, at the end of it, it's still worth it because of the people that we journey with on the journey and because of the relationships that we encounter, but also because of the sublime and the beautiful realities that we encounter in the midst of all of the difficulty and the silliness. And Camus is famous for this phrase, and I'll leave you with it today because I think it's the core part of what we talk about when we talk about logos, is that, and when we talk about the church, because the function of the church is to be a community of people following this Jesus guy. That's our foundational idea, is that we are a bunch of pilgrims in the world following this Jesus guy, and that we come together to do that, and we come together to encourage each other. We come together to care for each other. We come together just the way that I've seen all of you on this little 1111 thread care for each other again and again and again. If somebody posts they've had a bad day, there'll be somebody out there that will reach out to you. And if you're just listening to this on the podcast and you're not connected to the wider world, know that you've been prayed for, because I prayed for you as a result of whoever will hear my voice in this podcast. That know that you're a part of this community, even if you don't know it. You are encountered in it, and that you're captured and you're held by it. And so Camus writes this. He says, "Don't walk in front of me, I may not follow. Don't walk behind me, I may not lead. Walk beside me and just be my friend." Which is perhaps one of the most beautiful articulations of delighting in the Lord that you and I will ever know. Friends, I hope you watch the video on Ejiku's. It's in the thread, or you can Google him. He's out there. But he has this, and hear his words in his own voice. But I hope you will delight in the Lord today. Delight in the good, the true, and the beautiful that presents itself in your life. Delight in call somebody that you love. Call somebody that's a friend that you haven't talked to in a while. Encourage somebody that is down, that needs encouragement. Reach out. In some sort of way. Let yourself have hope. You're breathing. You're taking in oxygen. You're giving off carbon dioxide. You're feeding a plant today. Permit yourself the beauty of hope. Let yourself walk in the beauty of life. Let yourself hug those who are dear to you, and tell them you love them. Because these are what it is to delight in the Lord. These are what it is for us to live and endure on a day to day, on a moment to moment, on a present to a present moment basis. It is to see and to know and to encounter the beauty of all that is, and to love it, delight in it, because, as the psalmist tells us, it will give you the desires of your heart. All right. Peace and grace to you, my friends. We'll pick it up. I hope if you want to come to the movies tonight, I hope you'll be there. It'd be wonderful to see you. 6 o'clock at AMC Dartmouth. If not, peace and grace to you. And we'll pick it up tomorrow with another 1111.